Welcome back. Over the next couple of hours, hundreds of thousands of students across the Houston area step back onto campus for their first day of school. There are already changes, though, in place right now for student athletes and members of your school's marching band.
Yeah, we're talking about the new UIL requirements. Meteorologist Chita Craft explains the rules and shows us how they'll help to keep your children safe.
If you've ever wondered why 2 days with the exact same temperature can feel completely different, that's because heat stress isn't measured just with temperature alone. This school year, UIL is now requiring all of its schools to measure what's called the wet bulb globe temperature, or WBGT. Unlike the heat index, WBGT factors in not just temperature and humidity, but also wind speed, cloud cover, and sun angle.
And so when you think about wet bulb globe temperature readings, you want to understand that there are 3 different thermometers that actually create that reading. The first one is the natural wet bulb reading, and that looks at specifically evaporation rates of wind flow, etc. The second one is the black globe reading, and that one looks at the actual radiant heat. And then the dry globe reading, and that one is the ambient air temperature. You take all of those together, you put them in a mathematical equation, and you get a value out. The value then goes into a chart.
Dr. Santelli with Texas Children's says this chart is meant to better protect athletes.
And so greater than 92.1 degrees Fahrenheit in that chart equates to a black reading, which is all inside day. When you drop down a little bit to 90 to 92.1 degrees Fahrenheit, that's a red reading. And the red readings limit practice or events to about an hour. There's 20 minutes of break time that are required. It's helmets only. And so you can see as the temperature decreases, our restrictions are a little bit more lax.
This chart isn't about making practices easier. It's about preventing heat illness before it becomes life-threatening.
So if you happen to be around someone or you have a child that's playing and you see someone put into a cold tank and you see EMS standing around, that's actually the preferred way to treat.
Isn't this interesting? Now, we reached out to some of our local school districts to find out how they're monitoring WBGT to keep their students safe. Houston ISD, Klein ISD, and Cy-Fair ISD say they all use devices like we just showed you in that story to monitor conditions throughout the day. Now, coming up during our extended morning newscast, I'll have more details from Dr. Santelli about how these devices and their calculations are used to keep your children safe. But when we did reach out to those school districts, they did respond and say, you know what, they've actually been doing this the last 3 years. So while this is a new state regulation, several of our, I think most of our school districts have actually had this implemented already. But those cold plunge, that cold plunge on the side, that's what you're supposed to do. If you ever see someone that's really overheated, cool their temperature first. I learned this from Dr. Santelli, and then you want to have them treated at the hospital. But you want to have them not at that high temperature before they get with EMS. And that's what EMS is trained to do as well. Cool them down first.